In this video, I'm going to look at 5 different hot shoe adapters to help you pick the right one for mounting an accessory to the top of your camera. I went through 5 different options. I have one from PhotoSee, Limo Studio, a generic brand one, the newer, and the Zoom hot shoe adapter. So I'm going to look at all 5 of those and make my recommendation. First, what's the same across these devices? Well, they all use essentially the same design. They use one disc on top, which tightens down to attach to your accessory, and another one on the bottom, which tightens down to attach to your camera. All 5 of these devices successfully mounted both the H2N and the H6 to the top of my camera with no problem. And I would say all of them secured it pretty equally. None was particularly stronger than any other, so we can just discount that right away as the deciding factor. I was hoping that that was going to be the reason for me to upgrade to the Zoom HS1, but unfortunately, none of these adapters really outperformed when it came to giving you an actual secure hold on the accessory. So we had to look at some other differences. All right, let's talk about the Limo Studio mount adapter. This was my least favorite of the mount adapters I tested. The reason is the screw and the mechanism here was really creaky and squeaky. One of the units was actually completely stuck in the down position when I first got it. It's also ever so slightly heavier than the other models at 0.8 ounces instead of 0.6 ounces. All the others are 0.6 ounces, but this one is just a touch heavier. So that's enough right there to rule this guy out. It doesn't provide any performance enhancement over the others, and it's got a couple of weaknesses. So you can just discount the Limo Studio and the generic brand. So let's talk about the PhotoSee mount adapter. This one is very, very similar to the Limo Studio and the generic. I actually thought they were identical until I looked very closely and noticed that the pattern on the screw is slightly wider, so I can't technically say they're identical, but they perform pretty identically. Notably, this one is actually 0.6 ounces, not 0.8, so there's clearly some difference in the materials, but this was not one of my favorites. It had a gritty screwing mechanism and didn't feel very smooth. So there was no real advantage to this guy, but it didn't feel very high quality when it was actually mounted on the camera. The benefit of the PhotoSee is you get this cleaning cloth. So if you've been waiting all these years to finally get yourself a cleaning cloth and you want it to come with your camera mount adapter, this is a great one to get. Myself, I've got a pretty big collection. So let's talk about the Zoom HS1 mount adapter. Now this one you might be hoping is a big jump up, but I'm sad to say it's not. It is a big jump up in price. It costs about 6 times as much as the others for $15 for one instead of about $5 for 2, which is what all these others go for. It's quite a different looking device. It's got a larger diameter on the discs. It's got 2 different widths of screw. It's got a big texture on the top. So it looks quite a bit different, but the performance was no better. This texture on the top, for example, doesn't actually contact the H6 or the H5. The H6 and the H5 have a 1/4 inch screw area that has a little dimple on it, so it prevents the texture from even touching. So it doesn't even come into play, which was pretty disappointing to see. It comes with these 2 plastic discs, but unfortunately they didn't seem to make any improvement. I tried them in all different places. There's no instructions for what to do with those discs, nor could I find any online, but they didn't seem to make a difference. So it's about the same weight as the others, so that's kind of cool considering it's a little bigger, but it's definitely not worth jumping up in price. I found no improvement on the security of the hold, and that was the #1 thing I was looking for. So let's talk about the newer hot shoe mount adapter. The newer hot shoe mount adapter is my favorite. It's the one I'm recommending, it's the one I'm keeping. It had the highest quality feel, the smoothest action on the screw. It has thinner discs, which didn't seem to really matter in my use. The area that actually goes into the hot shoe is a little thicker, which makes it a little more snug. But most importantly, just given the smooth action, I found it to be the quickest to install and the quickest to remove, and it's the one that I wanted to put on my device and keep. So my recommendation is going to be the newer hot shoe mount adapter, surprisingly beating out the more expensive Zoom and the other models I tested. So I hope you found this useful. Sometimes in life we have to make decisions that seem like they don't matter, but we still have to pick something. If you're trying to decide what $5 adapter to take, hopefully this will help you make a good decision and choose the newer. It's a higher quality item. All right, good luck. And if you do decide to pick something up, please do follow a link from my channel. That'll help support me to do really boring product reviews like this one.